Byron.
Oh, in a hole. Don't know Liz. It's Ellie's fault. Actually, why? It is.
It is live. I can't see it.
Oh, that's very funny.
Sorry everyone.
Hi,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, help. You are the tech person. You're probably laughing quite a lot.
You're actually
Hi,
live.
Elizabeth.
Sit down, you're live.
Right.
Oh, she's commenting. Oh, yeah. How do we read the comments?
Right, so we've got Elizabeth and Cliff are watching and says hi.
Cliff will
Lots
have
of
his
love.
head in his hands right now. Sorry about that, Cliff. So, welcome to our very smooth running first live Facebook feed. We have the dream team of Elie, Percy, Bonnie behind the camera who's producer slash director, and
Hello.
Steve who's having nothing to do with it because it's a bit of a sham.
And Denise Slater is now watching too.
Hello,
Hi Denise.
Hi. Hello. So yes, as you can tell, we are super slick with this. Let us know if it's...
Vivian's watching.
Hey,
Hi,
hello, Viv. So, start with your questions coming in, everyone. Everything that you need to know. Cliff, Kirby, I'm probably going to put a ban on any questions from you just before you even start. So yeah, let's just crack on with a few to begin with. Let's get Elie warmed up. Elie, what I need to know from you
I
is...
have had no briefing of these questions, by the way, so let's go. Okay.
Elie, what I need to know from you is an interesting fact about different members of staff, and I'm going to just chuck them at you, and you have to come up with a fact about them that people won't know.
Heck. Oh.
I'm going to start with the person that you should know the best, which is you. Give me an interesting fact.
Oh man, I don't know any interesting facts about myself.
An interesting fact about Elie is that she also, instead of teaching people very, very well and running the yard that she does exceptionally well, she's also, I'm going to be kind, an international event groom. So she's toured around this country and bits and bobs of Europe, being a groom for me and our event horses, and has done an amazing job with that. She was in charge of looking after the horses, weren't you?
Yeah.
In charge of keeping me on the straight and narrow.
Yep.
Sit bucket, snacks,
Water.
various.
Didn't like to drink water.
Didn't like to drink water very much at all. So I would say that's an interesting fact that
Yeah.
people might not know, because you're not very good at blowing your own trumpet.
No.
So she is super cool. She's groomed for Pippa Funnel and Christina Gifford at big events when we've had
Oliver Townend.
Oliver Townend. We've
Ian.
done a lot. Ian Stark. How many more
Oh,
names
yeah,
can we
doing
drop?
quite well at this actually.
Drop a few more. Okay, give us an interesting fact then on... I've got an interesting fact. Deb, who is our amazing...
Oh, I've got an interesting fact about her. as
Go
well,
on.
But yours might be the same as mine.
You say yours.
She is a carriage driving expert.
Oh,
Oh
no,
my
it's mine.
God.
No. I learnt something the other day, and I learnt it because Sarah, her daughter,
Yes.
came in with a new hairdo. So it turns out Deb, also a hairdresser.
Qualified, actually.
Who
Qualified.
Currently, she can only do people in her own house, but you know that's might
Good
be
one.
another career on the go again. So that's good. Anybody know an interesting fact about? Let's go with Steve, who's over
Steve.
here. Steve, what's an interesting fact about yourself?
Steve knows everything there is to know about horse poo. That's an interesting fact.
Yes, he's currently our
Poo man.
crack poo picker extraordinaire. Off he goes to the fields. I do tend to see a little bit of a hip flask on the go, if I'm honest. And he's away for quite a long time. As to how much poo picking he's doing, not sure. Not sure about that.
Steve's a very good rugby player.
He is. Talks a good talk anyway.
What you said is.
I know.
The older I
Present
get, the better I
tense.
was.
Older he gets, the better he was. Good one, good one. Interesting fact about me, what you might not know is I am allergic to horses. great job to be in. I know. Spend my whole time sneezing.
There's a lot of sneezing.
A lot of sneezing. Yeah, tried to do a video today for our Bailey's sponsorship thing. Got licked by Teddy. Came out in hives. That was good. I have got one question that's come in from Tim in Parbold, who asked what my fat dog was called, which I think is rude.
Cliff said
Where
he's
is
not
the fat
surprised
dog?
Percy's walked off because of it.
Where is he?
He's jumped off the sinking ship. Yeah, my fat dog is called Percy, and Tim from Parbold won't be getting any tea tonight, so he can crack on
Trot
with that.
on there.
Cliff Kirby would like to know,
Cliff
is
Kirby
your
got
Teddy
banned from
drunk?
questions.
Is the Teddy drunk?
Having
No.
an afternoon nap, actually. Clifford.
Yes, he is.
We've got quite a few people watching now. Paula, Paula Rama,
Paula.
Amy.
And Megan, probably.
Amy Gilbertson, Rachel Howell.
Anybody that knows us, if they could get their friends to watch too, so it makes us look a little more popular.
There's
All for
Emma,
the good.
Emma Crosby, Georgia Dutton,
Hello, Georgia.
Nicola Bennett. Why is she not out here?
Why
She's
is she not
babysitting a 2-year-old. That's why.
Viv has said she's really missing her lessons with Deb at the moment.
Oh, Deb misses you too, Viv, as do the horses. Yeah.
And are you taking anything else from Cliff, or are we banning him completely?
Bonnie can do the censor on that.
Yeah.
He says, is it true Steve owns the only pair of fur-lined Crocs made in 1963?
No, Carrie's got some as well.
Oh, rude!
1962.
It was a good year for the Crocs. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Okay, I'm going to come up with let's have another question. Let's have a look. Let's pick a good one for Ellie. My aim is to get Ellie laughing because that's quite funny. Ellie,
Yeah.
I would like you to tell us about your favourite dressage rider. Give us her name and
Oh no!
and then tell us about a good night at the national championships once.
Well, my actual favourite dressage rider, obviously, I want to keep my job, is Carrie.
Yeah.
First one. In second place is a lady called Charlotte. Charlotte who, you may ask?
Yeah. So Ellie, crack international event group, can actually be incredibly silly too. So one night at the National Dressage Championships, we found ourselves, don't even know how, in a room with lots of dressage type folk who were very serious, and they were talking about somebody called Charlotte, and we didn't necessarily know initially who that was until we realised that it was quite famous Charlotte. And then Ellie started laughing uncontrollably and nearly choked on a potato croquette, at which point we had to evacuate and look incredibly unprofessional as the token event riders.
What
that
made
weren't
it
supposed
worse
to be
was if you looked out the window into the indoor school, there was a little Shetland pony dancing with ribbons on it.
Surreal.
That made it worse.
Surreal.
So yeah, probably Charlotte.
Thanks for that, Ellie.
I've got some more questions online. Elizabeth says, how many horses are you having to ride each day, Carrie?
Oh, so we had to really, when this all began, decide who really needed to stay and work and who didn't need to stay and work, because we want to keep ourselves safe and me out of A&E, otherwise Tim would be quite cross, as would the world. So we decided to keep the rescue horses going because it would be really difficult to come back and re-break them in 8 or 12 weeks after all the progress they've made physically and mentally. So I'm riding 3? Yeah, 3 definites, and then tinkering around with another couple who we'll let you know about in due course. And then I've been riding, and Ellie's been riding, and Sarah's been riding the lovely Kirby ponies. Laurel and Tom. Yeah.
Elizabeth would also like to know, Ellie, what's your funniest memory while screaming for Carrie?
Wow.
Get back time, I think.
Wow. Still am on with furlough.
The Charlotte one has probably topped it. There was one time where I actually think it was the same trip where we forgot dinner because Nick's team chef. We forgot dinner, so Carrie provided us with Tim's military ration packs.
Yeah,
So it was ration packs for dinner. So that was a good one.
it was a good tea.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I know. This isn't a funny. Well, it's quite funny. Me and Carrie again were let loose at an event. Can't remember what event it was. I think it began with a B. And we made
Oh yeah.
Steve and Bradwell maybe. Steve and Nick's wedding cake in the lorry.
That's a good
Steve and Nick,
story,
that took us a lot of hours, and then Steve and Nick came to the event separately to drive us home, so we had to stash the cake in the Luton above where Nick was sitting.
So we were making fondant carrots, and
We made a yurt. We made a
Yurt.
yurt out of fruitcake.
and Oliver Townend came in and asked what we were doing, and we said we were making fondant
a wedding
vegetables.
cake. Yeah. That was a
Random,
bit-
you might say. Random, he thought, yes, very
So
random.
as well as trying to win an event, she was making a mum a wedding cake.
So essentially, we tour around the country looking like fools.
Yeah, we do get laughed
Quite
at
a lot.
Quite a lot. Oh, I've got another one.
She's on a
I've got
roll.
another favourite memory. Again, at an event, Chatsworth this time. We just watched a hilarious video. Some of you might have seen it, and there's a dog loose in, I think it's Hyde Park, and the man is shouting his dog. It's called Fenton. Just going Fenton, Fenton.
Yeah, if you've not seen it, watch
Cue
it.
dog, no, cue about 50 deer running past, and then man shouting Fenton, Fenton chasing deer. Well, we were at an event. We let Percy off the lead and lost him again. There was deers and donkeys in the next field, so we were shouting Percy.
Yeah, Percy had a Fenton
Percy
moment.
was a Fenton. So that was probably a good one as well.
Yeah.
There's been a few.
Victoria Corsi would like to say hello. How's Slinky and Flora, please?
Oh, Slinky's fine. Slinky's
Yeah.
having his first day out in the field today. He's loving life.
Yeah, he's
Enjoying
doing
the
really well.
sunshine.
He's another one that we decided to keep in work because he'd been making so much progress. We didn't want to just change his routine straight away because he's taken a long time to build up physically, and he's really a much happier horse if he's in a routine and knows what's happening. So Ellie's got the ride on Slinky, and so you're keeping him ticking over, aren't you?
Yeah. Flora.
Flora's all recovered from her foot abscess. That gave us quite the heart attack.
Yeah.
When we thought she'd broken her leg, that was a team low. But anyway, it was just an abscess, so that was good.
She's absolutely fine. She's in
Yeah.
charge of the herd in the field. She's
Yeah.
bossing them around. So.
So we have lots of different groups of horses out in the big field where you've seen on some of the vlogs. That's the most of the riding school lot. The ones that don't go out there are the ones that don't need the nonsense in their life. So the oldies, which are just behind the camera. Some of the rescue horses, the likes of Slinky, because he was kept in the barn for the whole of his life before he came here. His social skills are quite limited. Bless him. So he just tends to go out in the field on his own, maybe next to somebody, but we're just introducing him into socialising really. He's a little bit like Cliff Kirby in that it's a bit of a social hand grenade,
Yeah.
so we have to be just a little bit like Elizabeth deals with him, I'd say. Yeah.
We've got a few more people watching now. We've got about 28 live viewers at the moment,
Okay, all ring your
including
friends, make us look popular, guys.
Sam Woods, Rachel Bent, and greetings from Gabby and Wolfgang,
Wow,
who are not even in this country.
International.
Woo!
Hello,
Eleanor and Kate said that her and Robin are missing their Saturday visits.
Oh, we miss you too.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see behind you, but Tiger's currently swimming in the new pond. That's quite Tiger!
Charlotte wants to know who is the naughtiest pony at the moment.
Oh! He's gonna go with that one. There's Wheezy, Wilbur, and Alfie, who basically keep bogging off down the canal on various places.
Tearing through electric fences.
They have gone feral. Yeah, so they just see a fence and just essentially go through it. So yeah, they are bad eggs at the moment.
Keeping Steve busy.
So Peter and Paul Rama would like to know who's the worst escape artist then, would you say?
I'd go with Wheezy and Wilbur. And the story about them is that they were abandoned in a lay-by in Scotland when they were babies, and so I just don't think they've ever had any boundaries. They've basically toured Scotland for most of their lives when they got dumped, and then they got herded up by Ian Stark. Another funny story, just another name drop. Hi Ian, if you're watching, which you're not. And then got sent to us with money to put them down if needed, which I thought was a bit harsh. Anyway, we kept them. They're funny, although quite feral. So yeah, all good.
We've had some messages from the Pony Club guys and girls. They've heard about this sponsorship that we're doing at the moment. Can you give us a bit more information about that, please?
You, Elie, right up your street, the sponsorship. Yeah.
Okay, so sponsorship thing.
Professional name.
So we are inviting people to sponsor their favourite horse or pony on the yard. Doesn't have to be riding school one. It's £30 for the week. If you are a child, you can join us on an Own a Pony day once we're off lockdown. So you'll get to come to the yard, choose a riding school pony that you would like to look after for the day, help us do all the jobs for that pony, so mucking out, making its food, cleaning the stable out, and then you can have a ride on your pony as well. If you're an adult, then instead of an Own a Pony day, you can come and do a stable management session with us, and we will be integrating this with the Challenge Awards, the BHS Challenge Awards.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is up Carrie Street, really.
Street, apparently. Yeah, so the Challenge Awards gives us the opportunity to teach you lots of different things about stable management, understanding horses, riding, lots of different things. So what we're looking to do initially while we're still on lockdown is to do some certificates with that online. So we're going to get some information to you over the next few days, and then also when you come back, if anybody's sponsored a pony, then you're going to go through one of those sort of syllabuses with us. You know, it's a really tough time for us financially. I mean, as a team, we're pulling together and we will come through this, but we're having to think of different ways because obviously we're on shutdown. We have to follow all these regulations, which is absolutely the right thing to do, but our bills are still exactly the same as when we were open, pretty much. So we're not going to ask you for money for nothing, but we do have to try and keep our ponies going. Keep Tiger and food is only small. He'll just waste away. It's all right, I can fund his feed bill. So yeah, we're just trying to do lots of little positive things to keep you entertained and to keep our ponies going, so that we can all come out of this the other side in one piece.
Emma Crosby has said Scarlett, who rides on a Tuesday with us, would like to ask how her teacher Sarah is, and also how is Spike.
Sarah is good. She is on one of her 2 days off, today and tomorrow. Yes. So she's working hard in between. So the way the yard is working at the moment is there's Elie, Sarah and I, and we're rotating through each day with the yard work. So it's pretty hard work doing all of that, but standing up to it so far.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
I had a little bit of a low when Elie was off, but we're okay. We're cracking on again now. Spike, you're in charge of Spike because he's a scamp.
Spike's fine. Spike's in the field with his friends. He's being a bit of a loner at the moment. He's not sort of playing with the gang. I think he's just trying to find his own patch of grass. His belly's gone very, very big. He's gone a bit fat, so we might have to roll him in for your lessons when we start up again. But yeah, he's just fine.
Don't think he's going to be very speedy.
No, we'll have slow ponies.
When was the last time you two fell out?
Oh, don't really.
Who asked that?
Mr. Armour.
Wow. I'm going to fall out with Mr. Armour.
When did we fall out?
I don't think we fall out.
Do we must have?
Do we? She gets a bit chimpy when I leave my stuff knocking about. Which is every day.
I don't. I just tidy it up.
Yeah, I came back to the buggy outside the house the other day with all my jackets and
She
hats.
left her coat.
Yeah.
She left her child's coat.
Charlotte would like to say, if you could ride any event horse from past or present, who would it be, Carrie?
Ooh, really good question. Any event horse. Do you know what? I think I'd probably stick with my digger because I think with an event horse, you build up a relationship with them, and we had Digger from him being a 4-year-old, and he was never really destined to be a top-end event horse because of his breeding, but I think the time that we spent together and the relationship and the trust that we started to develop, and then Elie came on board, and the three of us became a really invincible team, and Digger never questioned what I asked him to do. So we sort of went up the levels, and each time we went up a level, I thought, well, that'll probably be it. But he always just went, yeah, that's fine, I'll do that. And he was never built for speed, but with training from Ian Stark, he never allowed us to take a chicken route cross country because we never had the time to make, with the gallop, to make us go fast. So I think of all the event horses in the world, I felt the safest and happiest on that horse. He looked after me, I looked after him, and Elie looked after us both.
We were all best friends.
Yeah! Yeah.
This is Digger's actually with
This
us.
is
This is
Digger's
Digger's bench.
Yeah. So we miss him greatly. So yeah, I think that's a really good question, but I think for me, if you're going to train an event horse, you need to know it inside out and back to front. It's a dangerous enough job as it is, but that horse was a special one. So yeah.
Okay, so what's been your biggest challenge for both of you so far in your careers?
Elie? Working with Carrie?
Working with Carrie. Yeah. You answer our thing.
Okay. I think my biggest challenge probably stems from I've always had massive support from my mum in terms of my career, so I've had that. But as a family, we've struggled massively financially, so we've never been able to buy the horses that you would essentially know were going to take you to the top. And I think that's where the link came from for rescue horses. We always had to take on the ones that sort of had a dodge or nobody else really wanted or were a bit tricky. So I think what can be a negative in your career can also turn into a positive. Sort of learnt how to understand horses emotionally as well as physically, mentally, and everything together. So financial challenges throughout my career have been significant. We've not always had this yard. There was a time back in the day where I had about 4 jobs just to pay the keep for my horse. So I'd say that's been the biggest challenge, but I think also the best way of making you into a determined and focused rider. It really makes you realise how much you want it or don't want it, really. I would say that's the biggest challenge. Elie, what about you?
I would say a pretty big challenge. This isn't a sort of riding type thing. It's going from making a change sort of from being Carrie's event groom to the stable lives things that we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So learning to work with the veterans, learning about people's different states of mental health, working more with the children, that sort of thing. It's been a good challenge, good change, but I think combination of stopping the eventing, losing Digger, all of that sort of rocked the boat a bit.
It was a really tough time when I had my accident, which is like nearly 3 years.
Yeah, 2017 I think.
Yeah. So not everybody will know I had a really big accident where I broke both my arms and obliterated my wrist, and although we came back and did the level again and sort of tried to get going again, it never really was the same, wasn't really the same physically or mentally. So we sort of had to take a deep breath, and different doors were opened. Stable Lives, which is the charity that we run, suddenly had time to focus on that and develop that. We had more time for taking on rogue rescue horses and stuff. So we're lucky in the fact that we're such a strong team and that we could take a breath, everybody be open and honest with each other, and crack on and move in different directions.
I think with the rescue horses as well, you have to sort of learn a different way of dealing with the horses, learn a different way of riding with them, of riding them. So that sort of takes a little while to get used to as well.
Yeah, it's different.
Different ways of fitting in them, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I know one of the questions that somebody sent in overnight is that the team look really happy and getting on with stuff, and how does it look so easy? And the truth is, with all of this, it's really not been very easy at all. When we started to see that this coronavirus was going to shut the business down, it was a very, very worrying time of how we were going to financially keep going and physically, you know, with less staff and all of that sort of stuff. But we are a really close-knit, strong team and family. And also we have a strong faith. So this morning we got all the yards sorted by 9:30, and then we watched Audacious Church online for their Good Friday service. So that things like that keep us going. And we'll know we come through it. You know, we know there's a bigger plan out there. So our aim is to support each other, support all of you out there, and keep smiling. There's always somebody to laugh at.
Than we normally have.
Angela says you are amazing with the veterans, so it was a good move. Victoria has said, what are your biggest fears on the yard?
Oh, going down to the field and seeing one lame, like we did with Flora the other day.
Well, we were a little bit emotionally sensitive anyway, and then Ellie gave me a little phone call and was like, help me. So that was quite an emotional walk back, thinking, how am I going to tell all of you lot that Flora's broken a leg? Do I know any big brown horses that look similar? Yeah, I think at the moment, you know, we're keeping going with all the challenges that we've got, but yeah, we don't need anything to tip us over the edge at the moment. Yeah.
Georgia has asked, what's your funniest teaching?
Oh, Georgia knows this one.
Is that a leading question?
Yes, Georgia was riding Patsy. Patsy spooked at, I think Patsy spooked at a bird or something and span. Georgia landed on the fence, sort of made the horse stop, landed on the fence, pushed herself back on, so I didn't have to fill in that step.
Hey, nice work,
Georgia.
Georgia.
You could ride again.
She knows that.
What about you, Carrie? Any funny teaching moments? Or
I think really my teaching career is just purely professional, obviously.
Georgia, if you like less than Carrie.
No, I think anything to do with teaching really. I don't think you should, obviously there's the sensible element, we all learn together, it's all good to develop, but I think you've got to learn to laugh at yourself and laugh with people. Certainly the people that I teach that are developing for competitions and stuff. My aim is just to make sure that, you know, they can enjoy it every time as well and not take things too seriously and not become too intense about it. You know, because there's more to life than just total pressure and stress the whole time. So there's many a funny moment. I'm sure if there's Kat or Emma watching, they'll think of a time or two. But or Marie. But yeah, she's busy doing like fruit and veg stuff at the moment. I could talk about Marie, she'd never know. I just think you've got to just have fun. I think there's serious moments and there's times to really chase your goals and do all of that, but essentially, yeah, you've got to have fun. There was the time that Bella Kirby started cantering around me and was forgetting to pull, and slowly but surely all the stuff was falling out of her pockets, like sweets and a phone and stuff. And her face looked a little bit like this. And I thought, thank goodness Elizabeth's not watching. But eventually she did listen to my advice, which was pull, and the phone stopped, so that was all good. I did well. So I think we're pretty much getting to the end of our live chat. I think that probably we could do a whole other chat on like rescue ponies at some point, because I think that's a massive topic. Or Mole, we could go on for pigging hours about that tow rag. No, it's not a tow rag, he's just got big issues.
Bit of a tow rag.
Yeah. So yeah, we're probably just gonna wind up now, and then if you've enjoyed this, let us know, and then, you know, maybe next week we will do a special one on the rescue horses, so have a think about what questions you'd like to ask about them. You know, maybe how we do it, where we get them from, all that sort of stuff, because they're a very interesting, challenging bunch that we work with, and I think that's one of the areas of our career that we're really enjoying at the moment, because basically we just get a lorry and something falls off the back of it that's terrified, thin, whatever, and we've got to try and put them back together and find out how we can make them happy again. So that's something we really enjoy doing. But anyway, thanks ever so much for you know, watching. That's Tiger. He's just gone to. That's the security. He's gone to stop somebody. I don't know who he's gone to. Anyway, so lovely to see you all.
Thanks for your questions.
Thanks very much for your questions. It's been a pleasure. You all take care of yourselves there. Please know that we're only ever a message, phone call away, and you know, we are all thinking of you. We might look like we're having a jolly time, but right, to be fair, we are.
Yeah. We sleep well at night.
Yeah, it's nice to have a bigger distance between her and me. I feel a little more happy with that. So.
I'm not even going to entertain that.
So from our social distancing viewpoint, we will say goodbye.